Welcome back to the Kean and the Prez Show Playoff Edition. Super excited for the NFL playoffs. 6 games for our wonderful playoff viewing this weekend. We're going to break them down, give you our predictions. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Chargers, Texans. Texans limped into the playoffs, probably in the worst division in football, the AFC South, if I had to say so myself. Haven't looked really great on offense, but I think people forget how good their defense played, especially their pass rush. I do think the Chargers are going to try to mitigate that and really focus on running the ball. J.K. Dobbins is back and healthy. Gus Edwards. I expect a lot of running the football from the Chargers. I think the Chargers defense will do well against the Texans. Texans, it's kind of, maybe Joe Mixon, maybe a little Nico Collins. The Tank Dell injury really hurts their offense. Obviously, their offensive line hasn't played great this year, especially in pass protection. So, I think I'm going to lean towards the Chargers. They are favorites in this game, and I think that, Jim Harbaugh has the playoff experience. I know DeMeco Ryans got a win last year at home against the Browns, but I just think I'm going to go with the more veteran coach and the healthier team in this time, and I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah. For this game, I think the Texans are one of the worst division winners for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what has hindered them the most is their offensive line, which I think is one of the worst in the league, and I think they'll really need to upgrade that. And if the Chargers can get pressure on C.J. Stroud, I think that'll be very important and will be a big reason of why the Chargers could win this game. And I do think the Chargers will be able to do better on offense. I think they have a better offensive line. I think Justin Herbert will have a better game, and they can lean on that run game more than the Texans can, I think. And both of these teams have had pretty good defenses in certain parts of the season, so I think it could be pretty close there, but I do think the Chargers will win this game. I think they'll be more consistent, and they won't be under pressure. So I have them winning.
Okay. Next up, Saturday evening game, AFC North matchup, Ravens Steelers. These games are usually close, usually hard fought. This last game, the last meeting between the Ravens and Steelers, Ravens pulled away. People remember the game was 7-7. Steelers were driving. Russ decides to run it out, runs it 20 yards down the field, doesn't see the safety come clean and hit him at the 1 yard line and cause a fumble. Really game changing moment in that game. Game changed over that, and the Ravens kind of dominated after that. And Lamar played good, and he hasn't really statistically played good against the Steelers. The problem for the Steelers is not only did they limp into the playoffs, losing their last 4 straight, 5 straight, 4 straight, maybe 4 straight, but really haven't played well, and really haven't played well offensively. The defense is good, but if they're on the field for 40 minutes a game, it's not great. The problem is the lack of downfield play. Pickens was hurt for a lot of those games, and then when he did come back, especially last week against the Bengals, dropped multiple passes, didn't look good, wasn't in sync with Russ. They have to be in sync for this game to be close. I think the game will be close. I think the spread is a little too high. If I was picking against the spread, I would probably take the Steelers. But I do think the Ravens just have a little too much talent. I do think they'll miss Zay Flowers, but I think they have enough different weapons, especially with the 2 tight ends, to mix things up. I think Lamar will play well. I'm going to take the Ravens to win at home.
Yeah, this game, it probably will be close, but I really don't believe in the Steelers' offense. Even when Pickens has been back, he still hasn't been that productive for the Steelers, and I don't really have that much in the wide receiver room outside of him. And the Ravens have a pretty good pass defense for the past few weeks.
It's improved
Uh,
second half of the season, yeah.
So I think the Ravens should be able to stop the Steelers there on offense, and I think they have a better offense. Although the Steelers have had pretty good defense this season, I think they will be able to get much more done, and they will be able to win, even if it is close. But I wouldn't be shocked if it isn't.
Alrighty. Sunday morning, another AFC matchup. The Sean Payton led Denver Broncos with Bo Nix at the helm go to Buffalo to face Josh Allen and the Bills. Buffalo has played a lot of these games at home the last few seasons and done really well, scored a lot of points, and their offense has been pretty prolific. But sometimes Buffalo has a tendency to maybe play down to their competition. A couple weeks ago against the Patriots. You look historically, they sometimes have some hiccups, and sometimes I feel like offensively they'll have 3 outs and they'll like back-to-back 3 outs and they'll get down. The Broncos have a good defense. That's what they're led by. I know Bo Nix has played well in spots, but really it's been their defense. Now, the Broncos don't have a lot of wins against great teams. They played the Chiefs tough in their first matchup. The one in Week 18 really doesn't count because the Chiefs weren't playing their starters. Again, the spread I feel like is a little too high, and it's 8.5. I think the game will be a little closer. I do think the Bills and and Joe Brady's going to find a way to move the ball. I think the receivers being healthy now helps. And I think the Bills will win this one. Rookie quarterbacks on the road and their first playoff start. Historically, not so great. But anyway, I'm taking the Bills to handle the Broncos at home.
Yeah, I think this game could be a little close, but I think the Bills are a better team, and I think they both have decent defenses. The Broncos' defense has been quite good this season, but I still think the Bills' offense will be able to get past that and move the ball on offense. I think Josh Allen is probably going to have a pretty good game, and their defense will be able to hold back the Broncos again, with a rookie quarterback that they're facing. So I think the Bills should win this one by like 1 or 2 scores. So I have them winning. Yeah.
Next up, maybe one of the more exciting games in my mind, just because I think there's going to be some points scored in this game, and that's going to be the Commanders and the Buccaneers. They played all the way back in Week 1 in Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay handled the Buccaneers.
What?
Tampa Bay handled the Commanders. Tired. Tampa Bay handled the Commanders, and I think Baker had a really, really good game. Daniels was able to run the football. They just got off to a slow start. I think both teams are going to be able to move the football. Both teams have units that aren't so great. I think the Buccaneers are better against the run, but their pass defense is not so great. The opposite for the Commanders. Commanders' run defense is not so great, better than the pass defense. So look for the Buccaneers to get Bucky Irving going, running the football. Look for the Commanders to be looking for Terry McLaurin and getting Daniels out on the edge. So I think this game is going to be high scoring. And I just said something about rookie quarterbacks not being great in their first game, especially on the road in the playoffs. Well, all of that said, I'm looking for Mr. Jayden Daniels to have a really great game. I think that he's going to play well in this game. Again, I don't think the Bucs defense is great. They do have a good interior defensive line, but the pass rush hasn't been great. So I think he'll have time to throw the football. I think he'll make plays with his feet. And the Buccaneers have a bad trend lately of starting slow. The first half has not been great. They've finished some games and come back and won. But they have this trend of starting slow. If they start slow in this game, I think Commanders will be able to score, keep up, and beat the Bucs at home. Give me the Commanders.
For this game, I thought of picking both teams for this game. This was the toughest game to predict. I think this will probably be the closest game, or at least that's how I see it. I think both teams are pretty good on both sides of the ball. I think they're pretty comparable, and I could see either team doing better in certain parts, and that is why they would win this game. think the home team will win with the Buccaneers. I think their offense will be able to do better in this game against the Commanders' defense. I think their running back rotation will be able to get involved in the running game and the passing game, and the Commanders will allow just too many scores, and the Buccaneers will be able to outscore them and win the game. I could see the Commanders winning this game. I think that's definite possibility. I'm also tired.
It's okay. Doing this late, long day today. A lot of stuff going on. All right. Next up, Sunday Night Football, Eagles, Packers in Philadelphia. Packers have been without Jalen Hurts for multiple weeks. It sounds like he's going to play. I hope he's healthy. Concussion protocol, no joke. Protect your heads, fellas and ladies. The Eagles, for a long stretch this year, to me, looked like the best team in football. Their ability to run the football and their ability to play defense. Vic Fangio has taken this young batch of Georgia players, mostly, and made them a cohesive defensive unit. They have a lot of young talent. I think they're going to be a good defense for a few years. They're really young, but they're all playing really smart and playing well. And I think they're going to give this Packer offense, who's going to be without Christian Watson, and make them struggle. I think they're going to try to make them one-dimensional. They're going to really try to focus on stopping Josh Jacobs in the run game. The Packers are going to want to come in and run the football. I think if the Eagles can really shut down that Packer run game, the Packers can't just rely on Jordan Love and throwing the football. So I don't think it'll be like last year when the Packers ran all over the Cowboys. The Eagles' defense is smarter and will take care of business. So give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I think I could see this being close, but I think the difference in the defenses will be the reason that the Eagles will win this game, which is my prediction. I think their defense is much better. They have a lot of youth on their defense, but I still think they will be able to hold back the receivers and the run game of the Packers, and I think Jordan Love will be able to. I think he will struggle a little bit. So I think the Eagles defense will be able to do better than the Packers defense, and then the Eagles offense, of course, will continue to run the ball and pass the ball more efficiently, and I think they will win this game pretty easily. I mean, the Packers might give them some trouble in some spots, but I think they're just the much better team overall. So I have the Eagles winning.
Okay. Finally, our Monday night game that is now in Glendale, Arizona. Vikings-Rams, due to the LA fires. Everybody stay safe. It's unfortunate for the Rams, but who cares? It's the Rams. Not like they have home fans anyways. Not like SoFi was going to be a big showing for the Rams. Apologies. The Vikings and the Rams played in the regular season in LA, with the Rams coming out on top 30-20. In that game, it was the Vikings defense that kind of had a bad showing. The Rams were able to move the ball, and I believe DeMarcus Robinson had a really good game that game. I think he had caught 2 touchdowns. They really used a lot of 3 receiver sets. I expect Kyren Williams to get a lot of touches, but I'm also thinking about how mad the Vikings are going to be. They were a little bit embarrassed that last game against the Lions. They had their opportunities at the goal line. They could have made that game close. They had 2 4th and goals that they failed on. In the second half, they didn't score a point. So I think they're going to bounce back in this game, and I think they do have more talent. I know Justin Jefferson it's only the second playoff game. The last playoff game was 2 years ago, and they lost to the Giants. I don't think they want to blow this opportunity. And I think they have more talent. I think they have more talent on defense. I think they're going to have a good game plan. And that offense of the Rams, why people want to talk about it being so prolific and so great, the problem with the Rams is the offense is very inconsistent. Part of that is due to their offensive line issues and stuff like that, but I just haven't seen it be consistently great. And I think the Vikings will come up with a good scheme, and I'm going to pick the Vikings, technically on the road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still closer to the Rams, even
Yeah.
though it's in a different state.
A lot of Vikings fans that are snowbirds and moved down to Arizona, though.
Yeah, I the last time these teams faced the Rams, came out on top. The Vikings had a chance at the end. I mean, the most memorable thing for me was what seemed like an unfortunate missed call of a penalty. The Vikings still probably wouldn't have won that game because of what happened previously in that game. But I think it was a close game, and the Vikings could win it again. I do think they have a good defense, mostly for the season, except when a few pieces or a few things don't go well, uh, uh, they could fall apart. But I think I don't think that will happen for this game. I think they might get a little bit of pressure on Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Brian Flores will drop some kind of pressure, I'm sure.
Even though Matthew Stafford has been over the last few seasons just a very good, experienced quarterback, and is able to deal with uh, uh, pressure and difficult situations. I still think Minnesota will do good. I think if they play like they did against the Lions, I would be a little worried. I think this game will still be probably close,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the Vikings will come out on top. So I have Minnesota.
All right, those are our wild card weekend playoff picks. I don't know whatever you want to call that's the NFL market stat, but it's kind of weird because anyway, there's a lot of division winners playing this weekend. But I'm excited for this weekend. We'll be back next week, maybe earlier in the week, hopefully, to do some more playoff picks and our reactions to these games. Anyways, take care. Enjoy your playoff weekend and have a great weekend.